What the heck is going on in college football right now? I already know that 99.99% of y'all already know what I'm talking about. For the 0.001% that doesn't, if you guys didn't know, the former Tennessee Volunteers quarterback, Nico Iamaleava, he's in the transfer portal. Marcus, what are you talking about? He just led Tennessee to a great situation. They were in the college football playoffs, everything was... It's over money. It's always gonna be about money nowadays. On Saturday, April 12th, Nico Iamaleava left the Tennessee program and said that he intended to enter the transfer portal over his NIL disputes. According to many sources, Iamaleava was seeking to renegotiate his NIL deal with the Tennessee program, and that deal that he currently had before any renegotiations was set to pay him more than $2 million. Now, Nico was a part of the first true recruiting class that was cemented in the NIL era. The 2022 recruiting class was kind of when they were trying to figure out, like, okay, we have NIL kind of, but like, does it come from the schools? Does it come from boosters? There was still a lot of things to be figured out, but NIL was happening. 2023, oh, these teams had it figured out. And Nico was in the perfect position. I mean, he was the second ranked player in the class of 2023, only behind Arch Manning. And if you honestly ask me, I thought that he was better than Arch coming out of high school. Now, with that high recruiting ranking at the precipice of NIL, oh, he was gonna command a lot of money. And it was reported that he signed an $8 million NIL deal straight out of high school. So yeah, paying him about a little bit more than $2 million a year. Now, in the infancy of NIL, everybody thought this was absolutely crazy to pay an unproven teenager $8 million without ever stepping foot on a college football campus. Like, that was absolutely unheard of. Now you fast forward to 2025, and they're trying to give the bag to pretty much any single player that they can get to secure their right on a scholarship. Now, Tennessee's coach, Josh Heupel, he kind of said it best as to the argument that's going on right now in college football. He states, it's the state of college football. At the end of the day, no one is ever bigger than the program. That includes me too. We've got an opportunity. We've got a bunch of guys that will give their all for Tennessee. Now, right now, there is a huge debate going on in all college football talks. It's, are you pro players getting their money, or are you, hey, this is college football. Why are we talking about renegotiating $1 million contracts for like unproven players still? Now, for most of you guys, this will be the first video that you've ever watched of me, but I've had this YouTube channel running for about 7 to 8 years now, covering strictly high school and college football. And even before that, all the way back when I was in high school over a decade ago, I was writing papers, essays, all the way throughout college about why high school players and college football players should have been getting paid. Before NIL, there was a gross disparity from the production and the value that these players were offering these programs, as opposed to the scholarships that they were getting as like compensation for their services. One of the examples that I gave in one of my research papers was going over Texas A&M's enrollment rate during the years of Johnny Manziel. So right before he went there, and then the 2 years where he was just balling out, you could see a very clear spike in attendance at Texas A&M. Am I saying that all of that was from Johnny Manziel? Of course not. That's impossible to say. Am I saying that some of it was? You took a program like Texas A&M, who at that time wasn't really like the focal front of college football. He drove them straight into the spotlight. Everything went up. Ticket sales went up. Attendance went up. Hey, to go to Texas A&M, you're looking at about $40,000 to $60,000 a year, depending on what kind of scholarships that you're getting. Even if you get 100 extra kids to go to that program, that's an extra $4 to $6 million. Just right there alone. Hey, these kids are valuable. And so yes, if you haven't figured it out by now, I am pro the players getting their money. At the end of the day, the reason why, if you can give a player $2 million a year, is because you think he's worth $10 million a year. So yeah, renegotiating it after he's proven that he is worth that kind of money, hey, it speaks for itself. You don't pay somebody thinking that you'll just get a flat return on it. No, you're paying them what you think you can make 2, 3, 4, 5 times on. To me, the statement where Josh Heupel says, at the end of the day, there's nobody that's bigger than the program, there's some truth to that, but at the end of the day, the program only has a name because of certain individuals. I mean, what is Tennessee without Peyton Manning going there? Like, at the end of the day, it is individuals that build up programs' names. At the end of the day, if I tell you, if I say Alabama football, the first thing that you think of is Nick Saban, an individual. Maybe you think of all the legacy running backs that they've had there, the Mark Ingrams, the Derrick Henrys. I mean, like, so you think of individual players, you do not think of the team as a whole. So yes, is there any single person who can just go out there and just dictate the team must bow down before me and they must do everything that I say? No. But I mean, would Tennessee have had as good of a year if they had their backup starting? Would they have made as much money from TV revenue? Would they have made it all the way to the college football playoffs and gotten that money if Nico wasn't the starting quarterback? I mean, how much more money did Tennessee generate this past year having a 5-star quarterback at the helm, bringing popularity, bringing eyes to Tennessee, filling out that stadium every single week for your home games? Like, how much money does he generate? I think it's a lot more than the $4 million that he's looking to get with his next NIL contract. And for all of you who are like, no, this is crazy, like da-da-da-da, I will always, every single time, without fail, I will always bring up this one example as to why a college football player should get every single last penny that they can get while they're in college. I want to rewind all the way back to 2006. There was a team coming out of the West Coast named the Oregon Ducks, who had a quarterback who went by the name of Dennis Dixon, who was lighting the college football world on fire. Dennis Dixon was a true do-it-all quarterback. He had a strong arm. He could scramble. He could get you 100 rushing yards a game if he wanted to. He was the first quarterback that brought Oregon into the primetime spotlight and had them be a national championship contending team. I'm exaggerating a little bit for the story. I know that Oregon had already kind of been in the spotlight, but I digress. After a strong junior campaign where he threw for 2,143 yards with 12 touchdowns to 14 interceptions and had 442 rushing yards with another 2 rushing touchdowns, Dennis Dixon was looking to make a name for himself going into his senior year. Now, let me remind you, this is a long time before NIL was a thing. This was the, hey, you gotta ball out so that hopefully you can make an NFL team and get your NFL contract. Now, going into Dennis Dixon's senior year, he was the Heisman front runner, and he was projecting himself to be a easy day one. Maybe if teams kind of slipped on whether or not he can be a valuable quarterback, maybe he was a top 50 draft pick all day, every day, no matter who you asked, easily securing himself a multi-million-dollar deal going into the NFL. And Dennis Dixon started his senior year off hot. In his senior year, through only 10 games, he already threw for 2,136 yards, throwing 20 touchdowns to only 4 interceptions, and in those same 10 games had 583 rushing yards and 9 rushing touchdowns. But it would all come crumbling down when in week 9 against Arizona State, Dennis Dixon would tear his ACL and he would be out for the remainder of the season. And on top of that, this wasn't an ACL tear at the beginning of the season. This was on the back half towards the end of the season, meaning that he wasn't going to really be available for week 1 of the NFL season. And in the blink of an eye, Dennis Dixon went from being a top 50 NFL prospect to a 5th round pick where he was taken with the 156th overall pick. He went from making generational wealth for him, his family, and all of his loved ones to making enough to, yeah, I mean, it's really good money, but it's not the same as a top 50 pick money. Just imagine how Dennis Dixon's life would be different if he was able to get some type of NIL money when he was in college. Just imagine how different his life would have been if after his junior year where he showed a ton of promise, he renegotiated to help set himself up for future success in his senior year, and hey, he tears his ACL, but he already had his contract secured where he's able to provide for his family without having to continue to risk his body to play this game that we all love, football. But it does take a toll on your body. What if he was able to say, hey, you know, I made more than enough money in college to where, hey, I can set my family up for a great life and I don't have to continue to play football to try and provide for my family. that will always be, I remember watching that game and being so sad seeing Dennis Dixon go down, seeing all that promise. And there's plenty of other stories like Dennis Dixon. He's just the most famous one in my eyes because I remember watching that live. At the end of the day, football is a very unforgiving sport. You never know when your time is up. You never know. You can play for 20 years, you can play for 2 games. There's and everything in between. It is an unforgiving sport. It does not care what your ranking is. It does not care how much money you are projected to make. It can take it all away off of one hit, one play. It just takes one thing to happen and all that can go away. So yeah, renegotiate for $100 million. I don't really care. At the end of the day, the only reason why these programs are as big as they are, the only reason why college football is as big as it is a billion-dollar industry. Billion. Like really, like take a second. Don't just listen to the word billion and be like, oh, okay, it's a big number. Like really think about it. 1,000 million. We're talking about an ungodly amount of money. And it's like not like a $1 billion, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. There's more than enough money to be spread out to the players. Yes, is it frustrating if you're a Tennessee fan seeing your player go? I've had to happen. I'm a USC fan. There's plenty of players that have left and that have come in and left because of the money. At the end of the day, we are fans. We are here to enjoy the team however they build it. There's plenty of players that I wish we were able to pull in the transfer portal as a USC fan that we will never pull. There are plenty of recruits that I wish that we got that we will never get. I still enjoy the team that USC puts out on the field, no matter how much money that they spend or do not spend. At the end of the day, we're talking about real people that need to provide for their very real families. So yes, an 18-year-old or 19, he might be 20 years old now, a 20-year-old kid renegotiating to get what he's actually worth. It's not bad. Let him go out there and go shop the market. Hey, if Middle Tennessee State decides to give him $10 million and he decides to go there, cool. He's gonna be playing at Middle Tennessee State. At the end of the day, these kids are extremely valuable, and you have to take yourself out of the fan perspective and really understand like these are real people that have to figure out how they can best provide for their very real families. Renegotiating to get as much money as possible is the way to do it. Because also remember, they're not getting, like, if his contract's worth $2 million, he's maybe seeing $850,000 to $1 million of that after taxes. So you immediately have to cut half of that off, and he might even be bringing home less. So anytime you see these big contracts, always remember, like, that's not the real value. You got to take out taxes. You got to take out, I don't know what the income tax is for Tennessee. Like, there's a whole lot of stuff that people don't actually see. This, oh, he got $2 million. It's not $2 million. It's not just hitting your bank account. There's a lot of hands that money goes through before you actually see your cut of it. Always remember that. But hey, that's kind of my 2 cents on this whole Nico situation. Hey, go get your money. Every single player, go get your money. Know your worth. There's been 100,000 decades of that players have not been getting paid. Go get your money. Everything will kind of even out over here over the next 5 to 10 years in college football, where, you know, pay is a little bit more regulated. But at the end of the day, somebody's making money. At the end of the day, somebody that is making significantly more money than Nico is cutting him a check to have him playing at his program. They're not cutting that check not thinking that they're going to get a return off of that. So remember that. Somebody's making more money than they're spending. Always remember that. Love and appreciate all y'all. Comment your thoughts down below. I know this is a very heated topic. I'm excited to hear what you guys have to say about it. Leave this video a like, comment your thoughts down below, hit that subscribe button, turn your notifications. I love and appreciate all y'all. If nobody's told you this today, Jesus Christ loves you more than you will ever be able to understand. Don't ever feel like, oh, but I've done X, Y, and Z. There's no way. Nope. He's seen it all. He's been right there with you through it all. And he loves you more than you will ever be able to understand. I love and appreciate all y'all. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Ciao.